Okay, folks. Well, welcome to the first KubeCon in India. There we go. There we go. All right, for how many of you is this your first KubeCon at all? Okay, most of you. Anybody been to one in North America or China or Europe? Okay, we got a couple of those folks too. Great. All right. Did anybody go to Cube Day India last year in Bengaluru? All right, there's my crowd. Love it. Okay. So my name is Daniel Krook. I lead developer experience at the CNCF, which means I focus on maintainer satisfaction, making all the folks who you'll hear from today happy and making sure that their projects are successful at the CNCF. Today in this session is, as my colleague George would say, chill ops. We've got this room for about an hour and a half, but you're free to come and go. If there's something on the schedule that's interesting for you, stick around for the 7 minutes of each of that talk. Come back later if you'd like to. We're going to be here until 1 p.m. in the afternoon, just before lunch. After you see a talk you're interested in, we invite you to go check out the Project Pavilion, which is over in the exhibition hall. You go through the bridge over there. If you came out from the metro station this morning, it's right there. It's the first thing you see next to the metro station. So we'll be there today, tomorrow. We can introduce you to any folks who are leading a project that you're interested in over there. Also, there's another interesting session from the Argo project. They're doing a documentary. It's about 45 minutes. It starts at noon, about half an hour from now, over on level 3, room 302. There was a documentary that premiered at KubeCon North America last month. So we encourage you to check that out. A really interesting story. And some of the maintainers from that project will be around as well if you want to go dig deeper into Argo. Okay, so our goal here at the event, as well as at Project Pavilion, is just to make sure you have as many opportunities as possible to get involved with these CNCF projects. We encourage you to follow up with maintainers with questions, get involved in Slack or connect with them digitally, or if they've got a slot at the Project Pavilion. We've got 6 different areas on the right side there. You can see 1 through 6. And about 12 or so projects that will have different time slots that you can go talk to folks. And we'll have some CNCF staff there as well. So if you don't find a project you're interested in, look for me or Bob Killen. I'll try to be wearing this white jacket around as much as possible so I stand out for you. Go grab me. So if you're interested in talking to a particular project, you can also check out one of these recordings later of these sessions, or go find folks there at the booth. So before we get started, let's just set the stage with the Cloud Native Computing Foundation. I take it based on the number of folks that have been to events before that you're very familiar with the work. And how many of you in the audience right now are maintainers? Okay, so probably about a quarter. Of course, yeah. And any of you ambassadors or Kubestronauts? Okay, so those are other interesting folks. They are people in the cloud native community that help others learn. So if you run into somebody who is an ambassador, you may have seen it up on the screen earlier today, there's over 40 or 50 of them in India alone. And Kubestronauts are folks who achieved 5 cloud native certifications. You'll see them by the blue jackets they're wearing. So if you're interested in training and certification on particular projects, we have some new ones that were launched, such as the Backstage certification. Go talk to those folks. So the CNCF itself, we aim to convene the cloud native community. That's through hosting these open source projects, as well as running events like KubeCon. And in a nutshell, our goal is to make cloud native ubiquitous. That means we want to ensure that the best practices for modern software development are adopted worldwide, strengthened, and given the support that they need. We've been around since 2015. We started off by hosting Kubernetes. That was basically the reason the CNCF was founded. And we've supported the evolution of computing from closed to open, monolithic applications through to microservices, from virtualization with virtual machines through to containers. And along the way, we've become the default ecosystem and platform for containers, but also now for WASM, for serverless, for AI training, and for running inference workloads. So we've evolved with the community, starting with Kubernetes, but also as new trends have emerged in the computing ecosystem. And the reason that you might start adopting projects is that they're really focused on resource efficiency. You heard in Nikita's keynote about how important it is to optimize the resources you use, to make sure that they still do meet your business needs, they're resilient, they're not as susceptible to failure, that they can go from the developer desktop to perhaps a private cloud or a data center, and then as you grow, out to a cloud platform, or vice versa, if you start out on one of the platforms, you want to bring it in-house, giving a common programming model and skills that you can apply for all these modern applications. So today, beyond that first project in Kubernetes, we've crossed the 200 project threshold. I think we're at 208 now. It's kind of hard to tell because some of them have been retired, some of them have merged, some have come over from other foundations within the Linux Foundation. And we've grown to a community of 250,000 developers, contributors worldwide. And as you heard from Chris this morning, we'd love to see more and more contributors from India. So by Hyderabad next August, when we have KubeCon, the second KubeCon in India, we'll have more contributors to talk about. And this year alone, we've grown by about 30 projects. Most of those projects have come in at the sandbox level. The way the CNCF treats all those projects is we have a maturity level scale that starts with really brand new innovation starting in the sandbox. Once it gets to a point where critical mass is reached, it goes into incubating, which means it has contributors from multiple companies, not just the originating project. It's got more and more maintainer lifecycle, formally adopted governance. And finally, projects reach the graduated stage. There's about 20 of them, about 10% or more of the CNCF projects are here right now. And that means that that's a signal that they are ready for real production, enterprise-grade use. And this models what's described in a book called Crossing the Chasm, if you're familiar with that. And I really encourage you to take a look at that. It's a quick read. So that also means that you'll likely find a project to get started with. It's usually easier to get contributing to sandbox projects versus starting with doing something brand new in Kubernetes. So if you hear from the maintainers today and they're talking about being in the sandbox, that's really one to keep an eye on because those are the ones that are really going through rapid growth and innovation. You can also find projects, you can filter and sort them through the landscape. It's a bit overwhelming. But again, you can do all sorts of filtering by those maturity levels, by the type of area, if it's in cloud-native storage, if it's in networking, compute, WASM, serverless, things like that. And you'll see how they compare, too, with some commercial projects. So, for example, if you have something proprietary, you're looking for an alternative, this is a great way to find something in the area. Okay, so with that, I welcome you to join the CNCF. Hopefully, you can make your first contribution here during the event. I also encourage you to, talk to maintainers, really get out there, enjoy the hallway track. These sessions are going to be recorded. Use your time wisely here. It goes by quickly to go talk to and find people that are interested in the same topics as you, and hopefully make your first contribution. So with that, let me hand it over to our first speaker from Litmus Chaos, and bring him on stage, give him a couple minutes to get adjusted here. But thank you very much, and again, check out the Project Pavilion after you've attended the talks you wanted to here.